hope now you guys can hear me up. Okay, so in today's session, I will be talking about practical applications of deep learning and reinforcement learning. Sorry, just I'm just checking a few things. Yeah, it looks okay. Okay, so in today's session, we will be mostly talking about a few of the practical applications of deep learning and reinforcement learning. So before going with the slides, I would like to tell about myself. I am Anil Sharma, and I'm primarily working in computer vision and reinforcement learning. So if you want to access my work profile, you can go to this web page and see what projects I have done in the past and what are my research interests. I have got a chance to have 8 publications in top tier conferences and journals. These are a few of them, and I have also received several grants for my for my research to present papers in international conferences and including travel grant awards from Microsoft and Google as well. So I have qualified the national eligibility test with a significantly high percentile. I have received several other prizes for my research, and I've also worked on industrial robots, and we have a large AI community in India. And if you want to join this community, you can go to this link. Okay, so in today's session, we will be mostly talking about three things. I checked your registration form, and I just saw that uh, many of you are highly beginners in the programming and deep learning. So I did not include much of the technical part in my slides. So what we will do is we will first see how artificial intelligence is transforming our world, and then I will talk about a few career paths that are available in AI and ML that you can pursue, and I will tell you at the end about a few useful programs that you can pursue to start a career in AI and see how you can actually learn about these things which are working in real world, which are doing something uh, like maybe in terms of robotics or in terms of software only. Okay, so I will talk about these things. Okay, so this is, I think, 7:40. I think I will take around 20 minutes to give you about the details of practical applications of deep learning in the real world, and also the reinforcement learning. So before going with everything, right, so I think you all agree that AI is transforming our world, and it has revolutionized many things, from autonomous vehicles to robotic surgery. AI is everywhere in our personal life, in our professional life. So for example, you must have heard about Google autonomous vehicle, right? It is using various sensors to actually perceive its world and to navigate in the real world. Now they have started the real tests on the real road as well. Apart from it, there are various other works where many companies are actually using robotics. In Particularly, if I give an example, you can say robotic arms, where people are using these arms for picking up things and then placing it somewhere else. Okay, so there are other manipulation things that you can do with robotic arms, but this is one kind of application. Okay, so this image is in the simulation. Okay, so if we see a few of the practical application, let's just see this thing, right? This video. So there is a person who is managing a warehouse, and he wants to count the number of items in the warehouse, right? Instead of manually counting the bricks or the wooden sticks or these pipes, he's using AI to actually count the number of items. And this turns out to be very accurate. Humans are very slow and maybe inaccurate, but if the information is given accurately, then it will have high accuracy and it will give you the result in a fraction of second. So this is the one of the real example that people are using deep learning in warehouses, where you can also deploy your deep learning based algorithm in either a web app or a mobile app. Another example that is very common these days is about virtual trial rooms. I think a pandemic has given us very wide clarity that, yes, if we should not be using shared spaces too much. So if you want to avoid those shared spaces, or if you want to save your time while actually trying various clothes, right, you can use this virtual trial room. Let's say if you give your like image to the camera and the cloth that is available, so you can actually generate or synthesize an image uh, like with the new cloth, and you can actually see how you will look into that particular clothing. So this is one of the real applications that people are actually working on. So these were like I have given you example about the businesses, but government is also using AI at a very large extent. So for example, if I give you an example, right, so let's say this is an image at India Gate where there are a few people roaming around, and let's say like if an automated system can actually say what these guys are doing, right, and in particularly can it say like are they doing something anomalous, are they doing something suspicious, right? If we can actually answer these questions, the automated system can inform the law enforcement and they can take the right decision. So it's very difficult for the humans to actually monitor everyone, because there is a limitation on the number of personnels in law enforcement. So if an automated system can actually monitor these things, then we can actually provide a wide or like large amount of efficacy in security and surveillance applications. Apart from it, like if we see in the biomedical domain, right, so you have seen many publications coming around these times, many applications are coming around which claim that they can actually identify tumors, infection with a very high accuracy, right? So these two are the examples of using segmentation from deep learning to actually work on MRI scans of brain to identify like if there is any tumor in the brain MRI image, right? So for example, so if this is the original image, we can say that okay, so a doctor can actually identify, okay, this is a abnormal like growth in the brain, right? But a normal human actually can't say whether it's an abnormal growth or it's a normal growth, right? So like if we can actually train a like deep learning based system, then it can say, okay, yeah, this is actually abnormal, this is not the part of the normal part, right? So people are using segmentation for it, and if we can actually identify that there is an abnormal growth, we can say that yeah, there is a tumor present in the MRI scan, and the doctors can actually take the right decision on like what is it that we can do with the patient. Another example is like, so this is for the tumors, but even for the microscopic images, like to identify malaria infection, like on the microscopic images, to identify if there is an abnormal cell present, and are these cells pertaining to the malaria infection. So the same segmentation algorithm is used for it, and if we can actually say with some percentage of confidence that yes, a malaria infection is present, then we can actually save a lot of time in identifying a malaria infection. Okay, so these I have given you examples with like from the businesses, from the government, from hospital side, right? Now, but in your real world, you are using AI at a very large extent in terms of the applications like Instagram, Snapchat, ShareChat, Takatak, TikTok. Like I think there are many more. Like what they do is they actually use AI to actually put some makeup on your face, or maybe some goggle hat, some weird kind of structure, right? So and one other application that we can see is that face swap, right? I'm not sure if any of these applications support this feature, but what you can actually do is you can identify the structure of your face and your friend's face, and you can actually swap the two faces, right? So this is also one of the fun application that people actually have, but I'm actually not sure if these applications support this feature. But if you are writing your own code, you can easily write it. Similarly, for putting makeup on someone's faces automatically, right, you have to identify the facial structure, or like in terms of deep learning we say facial landmarks. If we can actually identify those landmarks, we can modify the content in those landmarks. Another application is I would like to play video for it. For example, this lady is doing some exercise, and we can identify the three structure of the human and how she's doing the activity from the 360-degree view. So this is very important. Let's say if you are doing yoga activity or Zumba activity online, and your instructor wants to see how your body is actually moving. So for example, you are doing a pose correctly or not, right? So this application is very helpful in those applications. Another part is to actually identify your 3D body structure for health related issues as well. And another potential application that some of the people are using this 3D structure of human is for the privacy preserving application. So for example, you are I think most of you are now doing video call and attending lectures online, and you need to see that, okay, so okay, if we need to switch on the camera, we may not like it because of privacy reasons. So you can use this particular application where you can select a 3D structure or like 3D avatar of yourself, and you can show that, right? So it's not like only the image, but whenever you are moving, that avatar is moving, right? So that will be like highly interactive. It will not be a dummy image. Okay, so these were like many real applications you have seen, but nowadays researchers are also using AI in the Salon as well, right? So how they are doing is they are actually using hairstyle classification and virtual hair editing. Earlier, I have shown you an example of virtual trial room for clothes. You can consider this as a virtual trial room of, or the virtual trial of the hairstyle. For example, you can synthesize your own image with different hairstyles, right? Instead of going to the salon and saying one of the celebrity, okay, so this is a good hairstyle. Instead of that, you can actually put or you can actually generate, synthesize your own image with that hairstyle, and you will see how you will look in that particular hairstyle. So this is an example of hairstyle try on, and researchers have started doing it. And this is not highly common nowadays, but in the future you will be seeing uh, many good salons using this kind of application. Okay, so these were a few of the application I've given you an example, like in business, by government, hospitals, your daily life, some of the applications that you are using. But apart from it, AI has entered your life to a very large extent. So for example, for smart home surveillance systems, you might be seeing these wired CCTV cameras at the government offices, but now various campuses are now uh, modifying their surveillance infrastructure, where they are using these wireless cameras which have dedicated computation power, and they can actually identify who the person is. And and let's say if you are having that system at your home, you can see if an unknown person is entering your home. The system can notify you, and you can take the decision as whatever you want. Power usage analysis, machine learning, and DL based techniques are highly useful to identify faulty appliances. So, for example, you have your air conditioner, right? And can you identify before a like major breakdown of the appliance? Can you identify your AC is going to be faulty? So how do people do it? By actually identifying temperature leakage, by having a temperature sensor and identifying how your AC is responding, and by using a history of the temperature data from your air conditioner, they can say whether there is a temperature leakage, and whether your AC is going to be malfunctioning or not. Route prediction, ad recommendation, face detection recognition, Google Translate, automatic delivery date prediction, robot chef, and many more. Right? So these are the applications that I think you are using in your daily life. Route prediction, right? Amazon and the Flipkart delivery person are using some kind of application to actually identify a potential route to your address. Ad recommendation, I think you are using YouTube at this point of time, and you might be seeing some advertisement below it, right? So that is ad recommendation. You are interested in AI ML related courses, so you must be seeing an advertisement related to that. Face detection, recognition, and like I will give you a few more applications later in the slides, but let just like have these applications and see, right, how AI has entered in our lives. Apart from it, I would also like to say about the AI skills in demand. So for example, right, let's say if you are a data like, let's just start from the software engineer. Okay, so this is a survey from pay scale, and if you are a software engineer in India, then your average salary is coming out to be 6.39 lakh per year. If you are a data scientist, your salary is around 1 million, that means 10 lakh a year, and lead data scientist is around 20 million, right? So this is a senior position, but let's just talk about the freshers only, the data scientist and engineer. It's 6.3, it's 1 million, that means 10 lakh. But if we talk about average salary for skills in India for artificial intelligence, so for example, if you know about computer vision, convolution neural networks, natural language processing, how to use deep reinforcement learning, right? So the average salary, like what this survey says, is around 15.6 lakh, right? This is much higher than the other two disciplines. So if you like believe me, like this is the right time to start with AI based skills, because the future is based on AI. Whatever you are doing today will be transformed with AI, right? Even if you are watching your television, right? So that is using AI to actually recommend you some of the content, right? Now this is a era of uh, smart televisions, and people are using AI to recommend you the content. It's not only that, like, you will have these particular channels, and they you will watch the channels based on whatever uh, like should be there, but it's based on like how you are like spending your time with the television, right? So based on the content you have watched, they are recommending you something. Apart from it, so if I talk about the demand, let's just see from 2010 to 2020, right? There is an exponential growth on the number of job postings for AI and machine learning based skills, right? So especially from the last 2 years, just see, right? It's more than three times, right? In 2018, we had less than 30,000 of the jobs, right? Maybe it's around 20,000 only, right? But in 2020, it's more than 60,000. It's more than three times, right? So there's a more demand but less availability of the skills. So for example, let's say if a company is planning to hire some AI skills, some employees with AI skills, then they are actually identifying it very difficult to hire people or look out for the people who have these skills, right? So that means there is a more demand, less availability. And if you start with AI today, after 5 years you will have a great experience, you will be at the senior position. But let's say if you start with the AI after 5 years, then after 5 years this demand will be filled by the people who are starting today, right? Then you will find it very difficult to enter into this field because there will be a lot of competition. Okay, now I will come to the actual skills that like this like real industries are using, which you can actually start on your own, and like you can start it today itself. So see about these like four examples, where let's say this is a robot in one of the market store like store market like marketplace, where like you want to purchase something, right? So if you like uh, uh, mm, I think, like, let me give you an example. Like what Amazon is doing is they are testing a prototype where, let's say, if you order your stuff from your home and there is a like store nearby, then can we have a robot which will serve you? So for example, whatever things you have ordered, it will pick on its own, and then it will pack it and then deliver it to you. right? So these kind of robots are actually like very common. Like many big companies are prototyping these and testing whether this is a feasible idea or not. Robotic arms in medical lab, so basically picking up the dangerous chemicals and mixing those, and like what amount like we should mix, right? Humans have tendency to make an error. This may not be very perfect, but these robotic arms can be very perfect if we train them very well. So on the conveyor belt, these robotic arms can pick stuff like which are like following the norm, and they can discard the products which are not following the norm. So in the agriculture as well, like so identifying the fresh and the like not fresh fruits or vegetables, they can identify which are not fresh, and the robotic arm can pick them and throw the fruits and vegetables which are not fresh. So here there are two applications. So for example, there is one camera which is identifying the fruits which are fresh, and there is a robotic arm which is locating that fresh item and picking it up and storing it at a safe place, right? Similarly, for the fruit which is not fresh, it is picking it up, identifying it first, then picking it up and then throwing it away, right? So this is one a good application. And you can learn about like these robotic arms today itself, and see how you can train it and how you can start with the actual skills of robotic arms. The food preparation, right? Food preparation industry is highly different from the example that I have given in the previous slide, where the main challenge here is that the food is highly delicate, and you need to handle it very delicately, right? So you need to have a robotic arm which is highly delicate, so that you can serve the food in the original shape. So many companies are actually doing research in making robots which can cook on their own and can serve you. So I would like to show you this particular thing. So for example, like, can you train a robotic hand to open the door? So for example, if you want to make the whole robot, right? So let's say if there is a whole robot, if you want to train that how to open the door, can you do that? Let's say if I have a simulation where I have a robotic hand, if I want to train how it will open the door, let's say this is the video, right? So this is how it is doing. This is in the simulation, but this is a very good replica of a robotic hand and how you can train it. So this is a training that like that is done using reinforcement learning, and you can learn how to train it so that you can when you have this skill, you can go to a company, a robotic company which is working on the full robot, and you can actually like use your skills to train that particular robot with the skill of door opening. Another skill is this pick and place, where let's say I have given you various examples of what we say these robotic arms, where they are picking the items, they are detecting first and then picking it up and then placing it somewhere else. So this is pick and place application. Can you train a robotic arm which is doing this activity, and you can identify right job for you? Okay, so if you want to like learn about these if you want to learn about these skills, then like you can start today. And like I would like to say about a few programs that you can pursue to start learning about making these real applications. So for example, like, so there is one program, deep learning for practical applications, where like this like we at AI-Shala Technologies Private Limited will talk about object localization, improving your old photos, and perception for autonomous vehicle. These will be the projects. Another is reinforcement learning crash course, where we will be talking about projects such as game playing and real world target tracking. Like, so for example, if you have a video where there is a target, and how is it that you can track that target. Another course is deep learning for robotic arm training, where we will be talking about all of these projects in deep learning and reinforcement learning. So these are the three programs that you can pursue if you are willing to learn about the practical applications that I have given you earlier. If you actually want to make something out of it, then you can use this. The key highlight of these programs is that, like, so you will be talking, like, you will be learning about fundamentals of deep learning and machine learning, and also about reinforcement learning algorithms. So you will see a robotic arm in simulation. So particularly, there will be two big projects. One is the door opening by robotic arm, and robotic arm for pick and place application. So, and apart from it, there will be machine learning interview preparation, and industry specific projects will be there, which I have shown you in the previous slide. Live lectures, faculty, these are the experts from the field. If you have any queries, you can contact us, and we'll tell you like who are the faculty. So there will be one-on-one assignment evaluation, the project evaluation as well, and we will give you free of course extension for completing a project. Let's say when you learn these skills, then you will be given like free of cost extension to complete a project under the mentorship of the experts that we have. 3 months performance based internship will be given. This will be a paid or unpaid internship based on the availability, and we have several industry partners as well who can offer you the internship. Opportunity for direct entry to our Super 10 program. Our Super 10 program is free of cost, full-fledged training program in deep learning. And if you show good performance in one of these programs, you will get direct entry to the Super 10 program. Thank you. If you want to join any of these programs, you can contact us on this email ID or in this phone number. And I'm open for the queries if you have any. Like if there are any queries, you may ask here. And if you want to talk about any of the details of our programs, you can contact us on our email ID or on phone number, either on WhatsApp or on what we say this or on the direct call as well. Okay, let me see live chat. I don't think there are any queries. If there are no queries, I will end this feed here. And like, if you guys have any query, if you want to talk about like how is it that we will train you in these programs, you can contact us on these numbers. Thank you for watching. And like now, I think we can end the live feed now.